welcome back for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today is my pre-tier review. Now this is an interesting anime because it's technically a retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But it's different because, well, first, it doesn't have seven dwarves. It has regular male guys, 4 being adults and 3 being children. So you kind of get that small thing, and they're called Leaf Knights. With they have powers. I'll get a little more into that. It's more based on modern time, but like not right now with all the tech and smartphones. More, it came around like I think 2001, I think it was, and so it's more. I think it's definitely closer to there, but I think it might be, the year might be a little bit older than that. I can't not the anime, just where it takes place. I think phones were in it. I doubt smartphones, but like flip phones, I think. I can't remember because it's been a while since I saw this when I was younger. I saw it like early elementary school. I watched it with my dad because my dad wanted to check out different types of anime. It's very kid friendly, and he got it from his friend's wife, or borrowed it from his friend's wife, and so we just watched it. And when you're younger, right, you probably, like, even both girls and boys, we grew up watching pretty much Disney, right? Like Disney movies. I mean, that includes like the Disney princess movies, pretty much all of them, because they're very child friendly. That's what, parents like to buy. And so I grew up with that. I'll admit it. I grew up watching pretty much every Disney movies, including Disney princess movies. I don't watch them now. I haven't watched a Disney princess movie in like forever because that just, it's more that's girls. But it's essentially kind of what that is. But I think Prétear it's a comedy. There's action in it, so I think it might be catered. It's catered to girls, but I think it has enough, I think, for both genders to really enjoy it. So that's kind of what I have to really say about it. But it stars a girl named Himeno, and Himeno, she grew up to like high school age, I think, with her father. Her father, or her mother actually, passed away when she was young, and he became a widow. But he was a writer, so he didn't really get a lot of money, right? And then he stopped writing after his wife died, so he had even less money. So she grew up, kind of living a non-rich lifestyle. But then her father married a rich widow her name was Natsu. And so now she has to live in this big mansion, have a bunch of money that she just doesn't understand. She doesn't understand that lifestyle. She doesn't live that lifestyle. She doesn't wear the fashion. And this makes her feel kind of left out, or the odd one out. And she has 2 stepsisters, one named Mayune, and she is a rich snob where she cares about how she looks, with the fashion. She likes money. She wants all the guys to like her, and so that's kind of her. And then her other stepsister is different because her stepsister is kind of all to herself, very quiet, I think very depressionist, and stuff like that. And so, very different personalities, and stuff like that. So that's kind of what you're dealing with in the family. Also, there's a butler named, who's like really small, named Mr. Tanaka, and he's kind of part of the comedy in the show, where he's really used by Mayune, and a lot of the comedic gags and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. But one day Himeno runs into a guy named Hayate, and they kind of started to argue with each other and stuff, and so they didn't really like each other. But he is one of the Leaf Knights, or he's even the leader of the Leaf Knights. He is the Leaf Knight of Wind, so he can control his wind. And then the other ones you got Sasame, I think that's how you pronounce him. His name. He is he's the Life Knight of Sound. The next oldest is K, and he's the Life Knight of Light. Then you have Go, who is the Life Knight of Fire. Then you got the three children, where technically they originally weren't children, but they were killed like in the past and were kind of brought back to life as children. So you got Manon, who controls, he's the Life Knight of Ice. Then you got Hajime, who is the Life Knight of Water. And then the youngest is Shin, and he controls plants and stuff like that. He's the Life Knight of that. So that's the 7 Life Knights. And so what happens when Hayate and Himino first meet, they hold hands showing a light. And this shows that she is the new Prétear. And now Hayate didn't accept her as the new Prétear. Also, I forgot to mention one thing. She was also kind of an odd one out of her new school. But that's just that. But back to Hayate didn't accept her as a new Prétear. But essentially, what the Prétear is, well, Prétear combines with one of the Life Knights, and then she then kind of gets the power of that Life Knight, but it's much stronger. And their goal right now is to stop the Fenrir, the Princess of Disaster. She, years ago, was the original Prétear, and she fell in love with Hayate, but Hayate didn't reciprocate her feelings, and then this broke her heart, and her powers unleashed of hatred, which made her darkness, and this caused her to become Fenrir, the Princess of Disaster. But she killed 3 of those things I mentioned earlier, and that's how they were reborn as children. But all of them sealed her away. But now the seal is breaking, and she's trying to get free. And so she sends out demon larvae to absorb the life force and to bring it to her, so that ever closer to getting out. And so the Life Knights had to find the new Prétear to destroy these demon larvae and finally defeat Fenrir, the Princess of Disaster. Because they couldn't actually defeat her without a Prétear, and since she was the original Prétear, that puts them at a loss. But now they have a new Prétear in Himino, and at first she couldn't really accept this, and Hayate didn't accept her as the new Prétear, but all the other ones tried to convince her and accepted her. But eventually Hayate did finally accept her and even fall in love with her. So he wasn't destined to be with now the real name of the Fenrir, the Princess of Disaster, is named Takako. That's her real name. But he wasn't destined to be with Takako. He was destined to be with Himino. And so that's kind of where they are at. So that's kind of the plot where they are trying to defeat the demon larvae and then defeat Fenrir, the Prince of Disaster. And the final kind of confrontation, she finally is able to kind of break free, and this Sasame, it turns out that Sasame is actually in love with Takako. And, well, I forgot to also mention, each Life Knight kind of had, well, besides the children, but each of the other Life Knights have jobs, normal jobs, so they could get money. Obviously, they can't be 24/7 Life Knights, right? And so that's what they kind of do. So Sasame has this talk show type thing on the radio, where he helps people, kind of, especially, and Mawata listens to him because it helps her with her feelings, her what's going on with her and everything. And this kind of turns into a love for him. And so when he kind of betrays all of them and goes with Fenrir, they decide to manipulate her feelings, which caused the the tree of disaster to kind of appear in the real world, and they're using her as kind of the power to the tree, and so now they have to save Mawata and defeat Fenrir, and now they have to also defeat Sasame. Now, at one point, they were about to defeat Fenrir, and she was looks like she was about to die, but Sasame jumps in the way and sacrifices himself. But at the end, they all figure out a way to actually get because I think after Sasame sacrificed him, I think that's what finally broke her out of her evil self, and so she actually turns back to being good. And then they revived Sasame. Now this caused, I think, Himeno to use a lot of her power, and it looks like she was about to die. And Hayate was really sad, no, please don't leave me, or some kind of around showing that he did fall in love with her. Now they were kind of arguing throughout the show, but they kind of both fall in love with each other, and so it's a very happy ending. Takako ends up with Sasame, Himeno ends up with Hayate. It's a very obviously happy ever after ending. But like I said, it's very comedic. It has a lot of action. I think the story is really interesting, and I enjoyed the series when I was younger. It has a very special place in my heart growing up, because I think it was, I can't really explain it, but I really cherish my childhood stuff a lot. I mean, I still watch Pokemon, I still watch Yu-Gi-Oh! So for me, that's just, I'm very different from my brother, who decided to give up on his childhood, get rid of everything. I'm just not that type of person. I don't want to give up my childhood, and so that's why it's still I still enjoy it, and yeah. So that's all I really have to say about it. I do recommend it for everyone just to check out, even if you think it might be a little girly. If you want to check out different types of anime, I definitely recommend checking this out. And now, if a parent is watching this, I mean, I make my videos more to my age, or around my age. But if a parent decides to watch this and trying to figure out what their child should watch, or a little girl wants to watch, you can totally watch this. She could totally watch this show because it's definitely more catered to a younger audience, and so that's kind of what it is. And that's pretty much everything. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you're new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified for my next upload. My YouTube channel website link, my Twitter, my Snapchat, and Instagram are all in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye.